makes the way from pole with Hypers alongside. Will there be any action on the open laps? We'll wait and see. Time screen's already going AWOL. We haven't even got off the grid yet. So here we go then. The 5 red lights are coming on ahead of the drivers. It's a long hold, but we are underway, and it's a slow start for everyone as people are trying to find positions in the background. Demon seems to have a better start than Hypers as they come round turn 1. Deepers, not Deepers at all. There's a big crash in the background. Demons is up through into P1, and there's Colden out, and there's a safety car as well. I missed the action because I was too busy looking at Demons.
We've got more spinners as well
Maxwell
in the background.
And Scott Laney spun Maxwell as well. Oh my word, what's going on?
Oh wow, we've got a lot of damage at the back, Mercs. Colden's lost a wheel and Lemon's just sort of sat behind him, not moving. I don't know if he's in a state of shock or something. He is finally going now. Yeah, there was a few cars just all over the shop at the back. I guess that just resulted in...
Because I was trying to say Demons made a move on Hypers, and then I said Deepers for some reason. So that went well. But yeah, I was too busy looking at... I saw the crash had happened in the background, but Demons was also making his way up into lead at the same time. I didn't actually know who made contact with who there.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't quite catch it either. I saw a Racing Point definitely make contact with either a Ferrari or an Alfa Romeo. A lot of these guys will be coming into the pits, I reckon, because, Jester's missing pretty much his whole front wing, as is Scott. It looks as though Lofty's gotten away without any visible damage. But yeah, it was really messy at the back. And then, of course, there was another collision between Scott Laney and Maxwell.
Yeah, I saw that one once the safety car came out. Laney spun Maxwell around, and then people got penalties. I'm just looking at the penalties to see who got penalties on the open lap. Neelix has 20 seconds. Neelix has now.
Whoa!
So there you go. He made contact with someone else. But yeah, all those drivers with penalties have 5 seconds. Besides Neelix, who has more than 5 seconds. So that's a lot of drivers.
Pretty much half the field in the back pits as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're these guys here, is it the time to try the? I guess it is a one stop at this point, but it's effectively a no stop. Maybe, but then again, the safety car will keep them in play. Having said that, I think a lot of these guys, whether they had damage or not, Mertz, are probably just using this as an opportunity to serve any 5-second penalties that they may have received, because effectively it is a free serve of a penalty, as it were. I mean, they get the fresh tyres, not that they're going to be especially important, considering we're on lap 2.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
They were saying, can we have another restart in the chat? Please no.
Red flag.
There's only one driver somehow DNF on that, and it was Colden, unfortunately. So I feel for Colden being out so early on when he's the only person out. And yeah, it's trying to see who were the big winners out of that. Jester, it was one of the big losers. A Flying Lemon, I think, has binned it.
I don't know what's going on.
Kind of.
He's coming back out of the pits.
I don't know.
He's still in the race. Yeah, I don't quite know what had happened, Mertz, because he was just sat behind Colden's 3-wheeler as Dodgy's left.
Dodgy
him
has
back in.
left the session.
So yeah, I don't quite know what Lemon was doing, but he was just waiting almost for Colden to move, even though he was out of the race.
I guess he didn't want to reverse on the track, but I don't know how he just stopped right behind him. But yeah, I don't know. Wait and see. But we've got 4 drivers with a penalty to be added on to the end of their race. So they're going to struggle to stay in there, and that is Maxwell, Scott Laney, Sprightly and Neelix. The biggest gainers, well, obviously, Demons is a Flying Lemon has also left the session. Yeah, luckily it's a safety car, so we can get him back in. Hopefully Dodgy's Xbox or internet hasn't shut off completely. But yeah, the biggest gain is obviously Demons off the start with a flyer in the end, and got a massive run on the front two. And then, well, Cameron managed to capitalise from the contact at the back at the front actually. Really, after from about fifth place down, got involved. Fourth place down, got involved in that crash at the start. And with Sprightly, who was in fourth place. Dolphin up 7 positions. Maxwell had a okay start until he got hit by Scott Laney, and that didn't help him at all.
Cameron's had a good start.
And
Don't know if you mentioned that. He's up 6.
who's that? Cameron, yeah. He obviously just avoided what happened ahead of him, and he's in the hunt. He was obviously very racy last week with Russell, and he made a good comeback in that race, and he's done most of the job already.
A bit of an
Cameron
interesting
was.
one,
I think Cameron may have been in Div 2 reserve before. I'm not sure.
I think he was at the back end of last season, actually, if I recall. But yeah, it's a little bit interesting that some of these guys like Maxwell and Scott Laney, who picked up 5-second penalties, opted to not serve them while they had the chance. I don't know whether that might come back to bite them later on. We shall see. I don't think we're getting underway this lap, as Lemon's just about caught up to the back of the field now. So I think we got one more lap on the safety car.
I don't think neither Dodgy or Lemon are actually back in yet.
I'll send them both in, right?
So yeah, it's not going well for Dodgy at all at the moment with his connection.
He's offline again.
Yeah. And a Flying Lemon as well has left. So wait and see. But it is Demons who is in the lead as we wait for the safety car to come in at the end of this lap. Opening lap safety car after a huge crash near the front of the field, probably from about fourth downwards, that affected. Some people got away, some people didn't. Dodgy is back in the session, and Gareth almost hits the back of Demons on the safety car as Demons goes for a nice little drift around Brooklands. But yeah, Demons with one of the best starts I've ever seen, actually, in the wet.
Yeah, brilliant start from Demons. We've only had to wait 40 minutes to actually get a lap of racing underway, so hopefully we will get that in a few moments' time. It'll be interesting to see if Cameron can kick on from what's been a brilliant start from him, and if he can get further up the field. But obviously he's got Hypers and Gareth ahead of him, and they aren't slouches by any means. And of course Demon, who also had a terrific start, who also had a terrific start in the Haas. Of course, your bet for the win, and he's going about it the right way, albeit we are only 4 laps in, and yet to have actually completed a proper racing lap.
Yeah, safety car's in this lap anyway, and we'll see if anybody does try the no stop now. It'll be a little bit easier, and we'll have to wait and see when Demons goes. He doesn't want to go too early, because the safety car is not even in the pit lane yet. But he's going to go now. I don't know if that's going to be in time. He may have got away with it though. I think he might have got the Delta, but he's gone early, and it seems to have paid off, as he's a long way clear, and he's got over a second already from Gareth in P2. So we'll get on board with Gareth and see if he's under pressure from Hypers at all. But it seems to be a lot of people kind of equidistant at the moment from each other, as I think Lofty is close, as I haven't got the timing board. So on board with Russell at the moment. He's darting to the right, now to the left on Stevo. And now he's soaring at this steering wheel, trying to keep it in a straight line. And these guys are close at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be tough to fight for position as Dodgy's made his way past Russell up into P13.
Yeah, Dolphin got caught napping on the restart. He's already 2.5 seconds off the back of Scott Laney in P6. Charlie behind him also missing an end plate, so I wonder if perhaps they had a bit of contact on the restart. If not, not entirely sure why Charlie didn't opt to pit under the safety car. I guess that would be the most plausible explanation. But yeah, Dolphin, like you say, another driver on the back foot, missing. He's not missing an end plate. It looked as though he was for a second, but yeah. Not a brilliant restart from him, as looks as though Gareth's pressuring Demons for the lead.
Seems like Demons had a bit of a poor run through Magnus Beckett's chapel, and that's put Gareth right on the back of him once again. It was a good restart from Demons, but Gareth is now fighting back, and Hypers is struggling to stay with the pair out front, and he'll try and hope these guys battle, so that can allow him to come a bit close, and then that will allow the cars behind. Lofty and Charlie side by side. Gareth sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, and Charlie's still ahead of Lofty, as Sprightly's very close as well at the moment, but Gareth still stays in P2, and these guys stay fighting for P8 in the same positions as they were, but Lofty certainly looks like he's going to get past sooner or later. We'll definitely go for a move soon. As I think Gareth is close, but not close enough. And, well, Cameron's made a mistake somewhere. I don't know what has happened to him, but he's made a little bit of a mistake, and he's under pressure from Maxwell Ham at the moment.
Yeah, we've got Getters just getting passed by Jester, and then...
Oh, here comes Gareth. Sorry to interrupt. On the inside of Cops, Demons holds it round the outside. Good defence from the Hash driver, and yeah, Gareth is definitely on his way, and he seems to be the quicker driver at this current stage of the race, and Hypers, and this has allowed Hypers to get back. Sorry, on you go.
Yeah, Geddes just losing a couple of positions there. Jester not really kicking on as much as perhaps you might have thought, but yeah, this battling at the front, it's allowing Hypers to just about keep in arm's reach, as he was quite a way back off of the restart. So this will be an interesting one to keep an eye out for as the race progresses.
Dodgy on the back of Steve-O. Oh, he's almost pushing him through the Vale chicane. And they'll keep an eye in front. Maxwell is certainly quicker than Cameron at the moment, and he's dropping Scott Laney a little bit, so keep an eye on that. As they go through turn 3, round the outside goes Maxwell, and up into the top 4. Gave him the almighty squeeze, did Cameron, but Maxwell got his shoulders out, got his elbows out, and said, I'm getting past, and you will go down into P5, and I will take that position from you. And by the scruff of the neck, Maxwell is up into P4.
Yeah, Lofty was having a little look at Charlie into turn 1. He seems to carry a bit more speed than the Ferrari through there, probably due to the wing damage that Charlie has, but he's holding his own in P8 still, is the Ferrari driver, and in fact, looking to go on the offensive a little bit, as Dolphin hasn't seemed to have regained his composure since the restart, still 2.6 off of Scott Laney, so definitely on the back foot as Scott Laney as well, looking quite quick on the back of Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron doesn't seem like he has the outright pace at the moment. He had a good start and avoided all the carnage that ensued, but he hasn't got the outright pace at the moment to stay with these front guys at least, and Scott Laney is going to try and catch back up. It'll be interesting to see whether Dolphin can find some pace at all. Demon sets the fastest lap, but Gareth is not too far behind, so they're lapping very similar out front. And yeah, it's going to be a tussle, and Hypers is just watching on and waiting at the moment. But yeah, Maxwell's obviously got good pace, but it's a shame that he's got that 5-second time penalty to his name at the moment. But yeah, he seems to have good pace at the moment, and Scott Laney is also got a 5-second time penalty for catching Cameron by quite a little bit now, and he's in the slipstream, but it's going to be very tough to overtake as there's no DRS, and it's very tough to overtake in general. But yeah, we have seen some moves already, just like Maxwell around the outside at turn 3.
Yeah, dodgy all over the back of Stevo, looking for a way to get past the McLaren, but nothing doing there. He seems to get good exits though, Stevo. Out of Luffield there, really pulling away from the Alfa Romeo, but Dodgy I think has some good pace. It's just whether he can get through this traffic. That's the one issue really with the wet weather racing, is you've got to be significantly faster than the car in front to really go for a move. And when the field's so close as it is, that makes it pretty difficult to actually get an overtake done, as we're just seeing a few drivers now picking up penalties here and there.
Yeah, it's at the moment it's tough for these guys, especially in this big train behind Dolphin. Dolphin's actually catching the pair of Scott Laney and Cosmic Cameron as Hypers takes the fastest lap off Gareth, so he's found a bit of pace. So it seems like at the moment Cameron is kind of the cork in the bottle, with Maxwell kind of on his own, in his own world at the moment in P4. And yeah, he's now 3 seconds clear after getting past Cameron a few laps ago. But yeah, there's a train all the way down to probably Jester in P16.
Yeah, I'm sure Maxwell won't be complaining too much though about the clean air. It's always nice to have that bit of pressure taken off your shoulders, especially in the wet weather running. Someone who has got a lot of pressure on them is Stevo. Dodgy pushing him through the first few corners as he went a little bit wide at Village. Dodgy had a little look down the inside, but there wasn't really ever a gap. Gareth now right on the back of Demons again as they head into Cops.
Yeah, he's been close a lot of the times, but then he's just getting understeer through there, and Hyper's going wide as well a little bit. But yeah, he's top 3 quicker than Maxwell, but then Maxwell's quicker than Cameron, so it's just a complete world of his own, as you can see on the minimap in the bottom right. Yeah, he's just got the, well, Silverstone to himself, it feels like, at the moment. Just whether Scott Laney and the rest can get past.
They're all compressing up really from 5th downwards, like you say. Cameron definitely the cork in the bottle, but unfortunately Scott Laney, while faster than the Alfa Romeo driver, not fast enough to actually go for the move and get past him. So as it stands, they're all just getting held up behind the rest of the field as, yeah, Orange battling it out with Russell.
Yeah, he's gone a bit wide, but he's made the move, and I don't think he's going to give it back. So he's made a move on Russell. He seems to be struggling himself in these conditions. Gareth hits the back of Demons, and Hyper's just about gets out of the way. A little bit late on the brakes, and a costly mistake for Gareth, and that has put him down into P3. I don't think he got damage from that, but it was a hefty whack on the back of the car. And there's a car off, and I think that's Charlie. Charlie's off.
Russell. It's Russell and Charlie, both of them gone. Both Ferraris in unison. It had to be the Ferrari spinning, didn't it?
Yeah, you could say as it's wet, it's kind of synchronized swimming at the moment from the Ferraris. But that has gone completely upside down in the space of a few seconds for Ferrari, and they're now down to 17th and 19th respectively, and that's just spread out a little bit of the train. But yeah, I'm sure that will regroup as Cameron still stays in P5 ahead of all those drivers behind him.
Yeah, we saw the Ferrari duo both struggle a little bit in qualifying with the conditions. Of course, Russell invalidating, and then Charlie had a couple of spins when he went back out on the Inters. So I don't want to say it's surprising, but I mean, if it was going to be anyone spinning, I think you would have perhaps mentioned those two. But it's a shame because they were both having pretty strong races, trying to work their way up through the field. It's a shame as well about Cameron. I mean, I know he's still P5, but I think it's more a matter of time as when he gets overtaken. Despite his strong start.
Lofty has pitted Ham.
Bit of an early stop.
So he's going to stop. He is going to stop when he's
powerful around here.
Yeah. A couple of drivers. I didn't even realise we were that far into the race because the safety car was out for ages. But Dodgy is on the back.
We got
down the inside.
Right off at turn 3.
Who's that?
I think that's
Sprightly's
Sprightly. Yeah.
rejoined just ahead of this battle. Dodgy's going to go around the outside too, maybe.
Ooh,
Loses out on the
contact.
traction. Grumpy Orange in the background as well, trying to go for a move on Stevo. But that's not going to happen. His Dodgy going to have a 2 overtakes in 1. But yeah, Sprightly's made a mistake. And he's down into P9 now. And he's just to try and regroup. And let's put all these cars close together. That's the problem having a train. And one mistake loses you a few positions.
Yeah, I think he just missed his braking point down into turn 3. Sprightly running right off the road, and yeah, was almost collected a couple of cars there. On the rejoin is Steve again, very wide in cops and almost losing the car. He did well to hold that, did the McLaren driver. So yeah, whilst all this has been going on, Maxwell now 7.5 seconds ahead of Cameron, but it's still 3 seconds to the top 3 ahead of him. So yeah, world of his own really for Maxwell. Bit of an early stop for Lofty perhaps, but the undercut is really powerful in the wet weather conditions. It's just whether some of these guys will pit, because the other night Taz 88% was his front left on the last lap. Of course, he got a puncture right at the end as Demons gets a penalty. That could come back to bite him later. But yeah, I mean, 4 laps under the safety car will definitely help the tyre wear. So I reckon the no stop is definitely a more plausible strategy around here. Because of course, the other night as well, it dried out towards the end. So that would have increased the tyre wear as well.
Yeah, we know it's going to be wet the whole thing. There's a yellow flag and Lofty has crashed. And he's crashed on the exit of Stowe, and that's a VSC has been deployed, not the full safety car. I think if there was a full safety car, we'd have seen a lot of pit action. But everyone else has passed the pits, besides Scott, who went for the undercut. So he's tried the undercut, and he's probably pushed a little bit too hard as Lofty. And he's found himself in the wall, and he's found himself out of the race. And it was looking good for him early on in the early parts of qualifying. It was looking good for him. And the rain came down, and it just hasn't gone his way ever since. Unfortunately, he had a decent start, went for the undercut, and it just hasn't paid off on this occasion. A big shame for Lofty, but yeah, he's definitely got the pace. It's just one of those things that happens in racing, unfortunately, especially in the rain. It's so easy to just drop the car, and it's unstoppable when it goes.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for him. I wonder if we are going to see any of the top 3 pitting. Probably not, as we're back underway. And yes, we are. Demons into the pits. You can gain a lot, obviously, under a VSC, but not now that it's just come in. So I don't know whether that was a late call to pit. But we've got more yellow
flag
as well.
Neelix. Oh, he's backwards in the wall.
Lost it there in quali as well, did the Mercedes driver.
I think he might come into the pits now as well. It makes sense. His tyres will be screaming as Demons will probably come out behind everyone, you'd imagine. Let's have a look on board. Who's ahead of Jester at the moment? It's Grumpy Orange on the back of Stevo. And Demons is going to come out near a Flying Lemon. Come out ahead of a Flying Lemon, which is crucial to his race, that he's got ahead, and he's got a little bit of clean air, but not too much. But yeah, I mean, that mistake from Gareth has cost him dearly, hitting the back of Demons. But maybe this penalty is a lifeline for those front 2, because Demons seem to, well, he had the track position, and as we know, it's very hard to overtake.
Yeah, here's an interesting one for you. The lowest ERS percentage of any driver in the field is 70%, and that's Flying Lemon. So everyone managing their batteries pretty well. Of course, it is a bit easier to do so in the wet weather conditions. But nevertheless, all these guys staying on top of the ERS. Hyper's using quite a lot here, so I wonder if he might be preparing to pit. Because, of course, you do gain a lot of the battery back in the pits. And yes, he is. There we go. Called it.
So he's in. Is anybody else going to follow him in? Maxwell stays out along with Gareth, so he'll make his way up into P2.
And Cameron battling. And he's been pushed off the track. Scott Laney had finally managed to get his way past Cameron. They went side by side through Stomerks, and then there was a bit of contact after that. Scott Laney almost being pushed into the pit lane by the Alfa Romeo. Went onto the grass, just about held it, but yeah, that's further disrupted the Red Bull drivers' progress.
Yeah, now it's going to be interesting to see where Demons come. Well, Hypers comes out in relation to Demons. Demons coming down the pit straight, the Hamilton straight as it's called now. Demons cuts the corner for good measure. At turn one, going to be ahead side by
He's
side coming out of the
overcutting.
pit lane. Demons around the outside as Hypers has colder tyres coming out of the pits.
Oh,
Russell has crashed on
he's
the
gone
exit of
again.
turn one. Are we going to get anything? We are going to get a VSC, so everyone
Oh,
calms down. Dolphin and Dodgy side by side at the moment. But Dolphin is going to be ahead, I think. But yeah, Demons just about gets ahead of Hypers.
yeah, and if this VSC is out for pretty much any time that Gareth is in the pit lane, because I imagine he probably will take this opportunity to pit, then he will benefit hugely from this. The only way I don't think the Williams driver will pull off into the pits is if we're back underway before he gets there. Otherwise, I think we should see Gareth take the net race lead, although it's difficult to say because I still think that someone might be trying to go to the end on these tyres. I mean, Maxwell would be in prime position to do so, but in fact, Gareth opts not to pit and stays out.
Yeah, that is an interesting choice. Well, Maxwell has Hyper speeds under the VSC
Oh
ham. That
no!
is, well, I think race is going to blow the championship wide open at the moment. It's all coming up. Gareth, he's making a charge. Maxwell's pit. Well, and I think it's probably right that he pitted in the end because he probably would have wanted to get rid of that 5 seconds, and he didn't want to get rid of it early on in the safety car. And maybe he'll lose less time by doing it as everyone else is going to pit. So
Yeah,
hopefully he
Demons
doesn't
pit
get
as
held
well.
up
Does
too
he have a
much.
drive through as well, Max?
Who's pitted?
Demons as well.
Oh,
Just
has he?
ahead of
Oh, he
Hypers,
might. I
yeah.
might have.
That'd be a
Obviously, it
costly
flashes up.
mistake from the pair of them, that.
This is almost handing the race to. He is. He's just driving past. So yeah, there you go. Those two picked up drivers. Second. Oh, it was first and second in this race. Originally, have both had drive-through penalties. Oh, and that has allowed. Oh, it's just thrown the race wide open for Gareth at the moment. He
Yeah, I
only
mean,
had one race win the entire of last season, and that was the Austrian Grand Prix. And this season, he's got his first win at the Austrian Grand Prix, and can he get a second win? And he's on his way. But at the moment, Dodgy is in the net lead of the race because he doesn't have to stop again. But can he make those tyres last to the end of the
Gareth pits
race?
this time round. So slightly interesting that he opted to not pit the lap prior when he had the VSC to his advantage, but he does pit now. Maxwell is technically a net P2 out of the guys on the fresher tyres, although he's quite a way behind all the guys that pitted under that lap 1 safety car. We've got Dolphin and Grumpy Orange both coming into the pits as well. I don't
And
think
Charlie.
Gareth will have to worry too much about any traffic when he comes out of the pits, as well, the two immediate rivals, Demons and Hypers, both serving drive-throughs.
And Maxwell obviously with a 5 seconds longer in the pits. He's already gapped 4 seconds to Cameron. I'm pretty sure they came out neck and neck out the pit lane. So there you go. As Maxwell will make his way back up into P6 behind Gareth, and obviously going to be a longer way back. He's 10 seconds back. So yeah, it was about right there. But I think everyone has pitted now. The top 4, as Sprightly sets the fastest lap, but he is a whole way is P15, P14 now, as Charlie's pitted. But yeah, as Neelix sets the fastest lap, but he's P17. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now as the two Alpha Tauris have swapped places. As Scott Laney's got past Dolphin as well for now, but Dolphin's going to get back past him, and they're fighting quite hard here. And Grumpy Orange is trying to have a little sniff around the outside. He goes a bit later on the brakes than Scott Laney on the inside, but I think Scott Laney's going to be ahead. Grumpy Orange is going to go wide, and that's going to put him under pressure from Demons. Demons is going to try and have a run here on Grumpy Orange. It's all kicking off at the background as Demons and Hypers are trying to make their way through the field, but they're going to have a tough job, and they've made it really tough for themselves. and but it's all as it was. And Scott made his way up ahead of Dolphin, so I think Dolphin must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, we've got Jester right on the back of Steve for P2 here. These guys actually only about 7 seconds ahead of Gareth. So if these guys don't pit again, I think Gareth would still be able to make up that time. I mean, again, it's consistency really that's helping the Williams driver out, not making any mistakes, while his immediate rivals have made mistakes picking up penalties or spinning or getting damage. Gareth has remained relatively clean, although he does have a penalty of some description to his name, as Jester's going to, I think, have a go at Steve-O down his Brooklands. Steve-O going very wide to give Jester the room, but Jester not really taking it down the inside. As Hypers as well getting another penalty, and we've got
free safety car. Charlie has crashed at the final corner, at the exit of the final corner, and that's going to bunch everyone up. And I think this is a free pit stop, really, for the top four, and it helps them out quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely, they've got to take it. If they don't,
would.
then the disadvantage they'll be at in terms of tyres will be massive. I think Gareth should probably take the lead of the race back, but I think we'll probably see Dodgy P2, Steve-O third, and Jester fourth.
Yeah, it depends where Maxwell can get in amongst it there, but, well, I mean, they've all got penalties, so, I mean...
Well, yeah,
I mean be interesting.
These guys all come out where they might. I mean, we might have Steve out in P3 without a penalty as well. I don't want to jinx it, but...
Got to pit.
Yeah, they're all coming in.
Don't even.
No, Jester stays out.
Oh my word! Okay, that's brave. Yeah, don't even talk about it, Ham, because it's just
well,
just don't.
He's going to have track position, I guess, Jester, and it is difficult to overtake in the wet. But when Gareth has got 15 lap fresher tyres, I think it's definitely going to be a difficult one to keep him behind.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Sprightly has left the session again. And yeah, we'll see when Maxwell comes out in all of this. Can he get ahead of Dodgy? He can just about, so that is crucial to Maxwell's race that he has got ahead of Dodgy. And these guys are on older tyres besides Steve-O. At the moment,
he seems to get a bit stuck or something on the pit exit. I don't quite know what was happening there, or whether my eyes were just deceiving me, but it seemed as though the little dot on the mini-map didn't move for a little while there for Steve-O, so I don't quite know what was going on there. But he finds himself P6, so not a bad position to be in anyway. It is Jester then in the lead of the race, but of course on quite a lot older tyres. I guess it helps out those guys that had the penalties or the drive-throughs and whatnot, brings them back into play.
I can't believe I'm even saying this, but Maxwell has probably been the form driver in this division, and once again, he is up there with a chance of a good result. I mean, he probably can't believe his eyes at the moment, because I think last season he probably got involved in a bit too many incidents on the opening laps, and this season he seems to just, well, maybe that's where he needed to improve the most, is just those first lap duels, first lap moments where the race can be just lost with damage. And yeah, I mean, just recently he's been on flying form, and yeah, this has really helped out Dodgy as well. Cameron, who hasn't showed the pace just yet, is in P5. I mean, I swear Cameron's been in P5 for this whole race at this point. But Demons and Hypers were overtaking each other. But yeah, Cameron yet to show pace in the wet, but maybe on a fresher set of tyres he can. But I think these guys are on older sets, so they've used... some of them have used before, apparently, because they're a couple of laps old when they pitted, so a bit odd. But maybe the timing screens are wrong.
So we're going to have, what, 6, 7 laps? Probably 7. Oh, actually, I'll say that Neelix is still quite a long way behind. So if he hasn't caught up, we'll probably go round for another lap. In fact, he's pitting.
Who are
So
we
yeah, we're
gonna?
gonna have
Oh dear.
probably 6 laps of green flag racing then to the end. So it's almost a 5 lap lobby, as it were. So a bit of a sprint to the finish then for some of these guys. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be intense, and especially with everyone bunched back up and right together, it's going to make for some good racing.
This is big for the championship. I feel like this is a championship defining moment. You have several
Yeah.
throughout a season. You could say every race is a championship defining moment, but I feel like there's some races that stand out from the others. And if Jester does go on to win this championship, this is one of the races where it hasn't gone his way at all.
Mm.
Um, but now he's thrust himself into a position where he has been before, not very often. But he has been racing at the front quite a lot, and yeah, if he can still get a solid haul of points, if he wins the championship by however many points he beats Hypers by today, then you could almost pin it back to this race. But it isn't over until the fat lady has sung and the checker flag has been waved, and Jester has got a mountain to climb for the last 7
Yeah.
laps of this race.
I mean, if he can hold on to even a top 5 finish, that would probably feel like a bit of a win for him after qualifying and then the starts of the race that he had. I mean, we've currently got Hypers down in P13, but it's P12 now as he's overtaking Demons or something. I don't quite know what's going on there.
It's the
Yeah,
second
Hypers
lap in
down
a row
in
that's happened.
13th, but he has penalties to his name, so probably not going to move up on penalties. It'll be on the track that he's got to do his talking. So yeah, if Jester can hold on to even a top 5, really, that would be a good result for him in terms of championship. But yeah, still a long way to go. I mean, 6 laps in the wet at Silverstone, pretty tough to do. I think Neelix should be able to catch up to the back of the train as we've got guys overtaking each other left, right, and centre, despite it being a safety car.
I think the safety car will come in this lap regardless anyway,
Yeah.
and well, Neelix will catch up anyway, as they're only at the end of sector 1. But anyway, in the chat, the people are watching, who's your money on? We've got a couple of sectors to go, so get your predictions in. Who is going to come out on top at the end of this race? It's going to be a sprint finish in Division 3. And I, for one, am very excited to see how this ends up. We've got guys with penalties, guys without. The 2 bulls without penalties have not really been anywhere this race. And suddenly they're in contention for maybe even a top 5 come the end of this race. But Gareth, with a penalty, is the first man in the queue, waiting to pounce. As the safety car is coming around Chapel now, and when it comes across the sector split, it should say safety car in this lap, and it does. So then, Neelix has Neelix pitted 4 times to remove all his pens, and yeah, he did have a lot of pens, like I said, 20 seconds he had at one point. So he's put himself right back in contention, I think. But when is Jester going to go? He's going to go early, or he's slowing down again now. And he's weaving, he's waiting. He's probably better off to go later than earlier. And I think he may go at the exit of the Vale chicane. And
he's gone.
He goes slow, but he's
Maxwell
gone.
getting really loose on the restart.
Maxwell struggling. The tyres are definitely cold on most of these cars behind. A lot of front wing debris in the background from where Charlie crashed. There's action going on in the background with Demons.
You get Steve and Scott battling out, and Scott, what a move down the inside at turn 2. Past the McLaren of Steve.
Grumpy Orange, and Hypers has got 2 for the price of 1 there by the looks of it. He's still battling side by side with Orange, and Demons are going to come back at him now, and Hypers tried to make 2 positions up, and now he looks like he's on the back foot and going to lose one to Sprightly. Side by side, he's in the slipstream of Demons. Is he going to make the move stick for now? He seems like it. Sprightly sticks his nose up the inside, but Hyper stays in 13th. And, well, he tried to have a go. Sprightly will continue to fight back, but it's going to be tough to make a move around the outside there. But here comes Gareth, I'm going to have to go off that battle for now, as seems like a Flying Lemon is quite close, and so is Neelix, as there's a virtual safety car, and I don't know what for.
No, I'm not sure.
Oh,
Neelix getting a penalty, Orange getting a penalty. There's quite a few collisions going on under the VSC.
I mean, when it rains, and it is raining, it is torrential rain right now in the wet Silverstone for Neelix at the moment. It just couldn't. It just was just not meant to be for Neelix at all. I just feel for him because he just had rotten luck this whole race.
Well, yes, obviously the same goes when it rains, it pours. And
Jester's got to drive through penalty, and he just stops at the Vale chicane, and that's just like concertina effect down the whole grid near the chicane. As,
and Gareth's got one as well, Mercs. Gareth's got a drive through as well.
Oh my word! I don't believe I'm saying this, but Maxwell
what is going on?
Is currently the net leader. It's all gone.
Does anyone want to win this race?
Does anybody want to win this race? I mean, lightning struck twice back in Austria 1 week ago. Dodgy's going to try down the inside of Maxwell here. Can he get up the inside? Oh, side by side, big contact. Side pod to side pod, tyre to tyre face. Maxwell getting his elbows out as he did in Monaco. And he stays ahead. Cameron's having to have a look. Lightning struck twice in Austria last week. Can it do the same again? Maxwell won the race last season. At the moment, he's on his way to win again with Dodgy and penalties behind. Cameron's on for a podium. I mean, this is crazy. Stevo is on for the podium at the moment.
Oh, you had to say it.
I don't even know what to say. I had to say it. Stevo, just keep all your tyres on the track, please. And can Maxwell do his teammate a favour?
Unfortunately, unlike Demons and
As I say that, Stevo, because it's penalty, I don't even know why I talk. I don't know why I talk. Jay Geddes is off the track. I don't know why I talk.
Gonna get let off with a safety car bailing them out later on in the race.
Demons is off as well.
Jester are going to be done for any sort of decent result this afternoon. They're both... No, Gareth stays out, even though he's going to have to serve his drive-through eventually. Jester does come in then for his drive-through now. Stevo might just about have 3 seconds Scott Laney behind, so as it stands, he should still be okay in that department, but we'll have to wait and see. Might have to get it done on track though now.
I'm sorry for the jinx, but I do have to commentate on what I see, and I was seeing that at that point. It isn't over yet. It isn't over yet. If he can get past Scott, then I don't even know how much penalties Dodgy has at this point. But as I said, that Dodgy gets up a 3 second time penalty, so it's not over yet, folks. It could be a battle between Stevo and Scott and Dolphin. Keep saying it. I don't even know anymore. This is absolutely fingers in the chat, boys. Fingers in the chat. That's all I have to say. This is unbelievable scenes. Gareth, on any normal day, would go on to win this race by quite a comfortable margin, as he's clearly quicker than Maxwell.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, margin. As well, Stevo's got the freshest tyres out of all of these guys as well. So
I don't even know what to say. Hyper's up into P8 ahead of Scott Laney. But he does have a penalty to his name as well. Scott Laney's going to try and come back at Hypers, but I think to no avail. And they've got to watch behind him, as Hypers is definitely a quick driver. And P2 in the championship. And, well, I did say the championship's going to be blown wide open. And, well, I think it really is at the moment. Dodgy right on the back of Maxwell. And he really needs to get past Maxwell if he's going to have any chance. But it's 6 seconds minimum. As Gareth is in the pit lane, I mean, as I say, it rains and it pours for these people. And Maxwell will come across the line now. 3 laps to go in this race, folks. And Maxwell leads the British Grand Prix, as he did 1 season ago. And Gareth will drop outside the points. And Scott Laney picks up a time penalty. Oh, it's all going wrong for people at the back. Cameron in P3 is doing well. I mean, if only Callum was here for the Alfa Romeo boys, it would have been unbelievable scenes. And I mean, I just don't even know. I don't want to call this race at the moment. Maxwell has been defending so hard all this season. It's been Maxwell ahead, and he's been so consistent. And he's been bulletproof almost. and Hypers is up into P6 now, and he is absolutely flying. Then he's not without a shout for a podium. And
That'd be a heck of a recovery from the Renault driver.
Dodgy is right on the back at the moment of Maxwell. And yeah, Maxwell is trying to stay ahead. And Steve-O is overtaken Scott. And yeah, Scott's made a mistake through cops by the looks of it. And Steve-O's up into P4. Hyper seems to want to have a go round the outside of Scott, now down the inside as Scott goes off the track. And for a second I thought he was going to go right across the track as Hyper's run out of ERS. Steve-O defends to the inside. And Steve-O stays in P4 for now, but Hypers is gaining a lot, but he's using up his ERS to try and make these moves.
Yeah, it's time that these guys really can't afford to be losing. They need to keep in check with the leaders. Of course, Dodgy with at least one penalty out in front.
Here comes Hypers.
A sniff of a podium.
He's going to go down the inside. Steve-O defends late, and he defends just about, sticking his McLaren in all parts of the racetrack just to pick up a time penalty, but he's too far back. Steve-O's got to be careful that he doesn't lose too much time to these drivers ahead by defending so much. But he stays ahead for now, and I feel like it's sooner rather than later that Hypers gets ahead of Steve-O. And he's gone wide as Steve-O, and he's still ahead for now, but Hypers is watching on. He's on the prowl, is Hypers, and he's almost ahead. He's pushing him round all these corners, and so is Dodgy to Maxwell. Two McLarens under pressure at the moment, but the two McLarens ahead as Cameron gets a penalty as well. Maxwell's the only person in the top 10 besides Jay Geddes who doesn't have a penalty. Jay Geddes is set to go up in loads of positions at the moment. Here comes Hypers trying to around the outside.
He's going to get him down here, surely.
Surely he's going to have to run. Steve-O is going to be defenceless going into Stowe, and Steve-O's probably better off letting him go at the moment. And Steve-O's down into P5. Hypers back up into P4, and he's on the recovery at the moment. As we go into the Vale chicane with Maxwell, Dodgy still pushing him through these corners. Maxwell with the biggest defence of his life. He's already done that in Monaco to get podium. And he's stopping Dodgy from even trying to have a go at pulling clear. Maxwell on the final lap of this race. Hold your breath, folks. This could be unbelievable finish. Dodgy's very late on the brakes. Please don't ruin his race. And he's just, still pushing him as he was, just staring at the back of that McLaren gearbox.
Oh, Dodgy's onto the grass.
Oh, Dodgy's lost it a little bit, and that's going to, lose his chance of getting anywhere near. As there's not really many moves going on at the moment. Everyone's kind of staying as they were. As I say that, Scott Laney seems to be very close to the back of Dolphin, but not going for the move at the moment. And it is almost there for Maxwell. 2 seconds to go, really. 1.5 to go. Maxwell is still in the lead. Scott Laney still behind Dolphin. And it has been stop and start, but it has been thrilling from start to finish.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, hopefully I don't jinx it, it's going to be a brilliant
picked up
drive
a time as well
from Maxwell to take the win. He's kept cool and composed while his immediate rivals have made mistakes. No penalties. Yes. It's been a clean race from him. Yeah. With only a few turns off, Dodgy's really pushing, but to no avail.
He is pushing him, but he's not going to push enough. He has penalties to his name. Well, last week we had a lightning strike twice. This week we're going to have lightning strike twice again. Maxwell comes across the line to win here in Silverstone. Steve-O crosses the line. It's P4 for Steve-O. He just misses out in the end. Cameron on the podium for the first time in Division 3. Hypers rounds out the podium and somehow is back in the championship leads after all that. But it is Maxwell who is the winner once again, as it was 1 season ago. Maxwell wins once again at Silverstone, and boy oh boy does he deserve this.
Yeah, brilliant drive from Maxwell, as you say, fully deserved. Flawless drive, no penalties from him. Dodgy, I think, had the fattest timing glitch I've ever seen. I believe it is a provisional P2. It should be for him, but we'll have to
He
wait and
had
see on that
six
one.
seconds, having said that, but I don't know how long
Yeah,
that
so
is.
it might have been P3, but it's certainly not 26 seconds off the lead like he ended up. Um, but yeah, some brilliant drives throughout the field, as well as mixed in with a lot of the big guns making mistakes rather uncharacteristically from them. But it is Maxwell, the informed driver in Division 3 at the moment, who takes the win. Back-to-back victories at Silverstone in SLR as well for Maxwell.
Super Max 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 is the name of the day here. And, well, I mean, it's all been building up to this. I mean, yeah, let's see. Dodgy had 6 seconds. I don't know. I think Cameron would get ahead of him.
And the Hypers might be in him as
Hypers
well,
as
actually, yeah.
well. Stevo, I don't know, having said that.
No,
But
he's
Jake,
right behind Maxwell, Dodgy.
yeah, he was right behind Maxwell. Oh, yeah, he was. He was only a couple cents. I think that would be P4 in the end for Dodgy, not P11. So Demons does miss out on points. And Scott just sneaks in. A Flying Lemon, for the first time, I believe, has got points in Division 3. From P20,
No
qualifying
penalties as
ban,
well. Cracking effort.
no penalties, and he's in the points. Jay Geddes as well used that to full effect. And that'll be P6 in the end for him. But yeah, I mean, it's the fairy tale result. And I think, like we say, he's been on form. He got 4 podiums in a row, 5th place last week. And that is now 95 points in 6 races for our race winner. Take a breath.
Podium finishes in, don't I?
Take a breath.
There we go.
Apparently, a Flying Lemon was an AI, apparently, so maybe
Yeah, I
it's
was
not.
wondering that whether it might have actually just been his AI driving.
Maybe not then.
There you go. For now, at least, we can say he was on the podium.
We can say that for now, but
On
maybe
the podium?
Demons does
In
get
the
points after all. In the points, yeah. So
Well, he's on
it was
Call of
the-
Duty, so yeah, I'd imagine he probably wasn't driving.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's
Who
got
else
some
are we getting in?
remote. Cameron and
Hypers, I suppose.
Hypers, yeah, Hypers. Yeah, I'd take a breath. I mean, that was something else.
We've got 2 races for the price of 1 there with the 2-lap sprint race at the start.
Yeah, well, I think got a nice little precursor to say the least. All of them in. So Ham, if you want to do third and second, and then I'll do first.
Sure.
That'll be your mate Hypers first.
Right then. Yes, Hypers. Remember to tick your boxes as well, guys. Just before we
Yeah,
start.
I'm all ticked up.
But yeah, I mean, a race of almost parts, as it were. A good start, challenging for the lead in the opening exchanges, and then that drive through putting you right on the back foot, scuppering your race for what would seem to put you out of the points. But then a late safety car brought you back into contention, and then some great driving at the end to take a podium. So overall, would you say you're relatively happy with your race, or are you a little bit kind of kicking yourself for getting that drive through?
No, I think you've got to be happy, ain't you? We get at one point when I was sat in 14th, looking at it, going, "Oh, this has gone horribly, horribly wrong," and to be able to sort of come back and get onto the podium, I think I noticed maybe with 4 laps to go, I was starting to pull towards the guys at the front. And I was like, "Okay, maybe I can do this," and it was obviously about penalties. But no, it's obviously frustrating a drive through, which came out of sort of nowhere, and the Delta just sort of doesn't really give you the time to fix it coming out of a low speed corner. And then I think I've made contact with Demons as well. I'm not sure if that was caught. My recording didn't seem to save, but I could have had a penalty coming my way for that if that's deemed to be me turning in on him. So hopefully not. But other than that, no, I'm happy. Some points for the Renault boys. Unlucky that Jester couldn't make it through because he was looking like a win at one point there before his drive through.
Yeah, definitely. Great mentality though, showing the rest of the league, I guess, to never give up when it looked like everything was against you. you kept on going, and well, you got the reward in the end with a P3. So great effort from
Fantastic. Cheers.
yourself there. Right then, and in P2 we've got Cameron. A brilliant
Hello?
start to your race, going up from 10th to 5th in the early stages, and then just remaining consistent, avoiding trouble, and just riding it home to take P2 in the end. So a good job from yourself overall. Just talk us through your race.
To be fair, my main aim was just to keep out of trouble from lap 1. Just keep trying to avoid keeping penalties nice and low and just basically stay out of trouble.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you did. Of course, your teammate Dodgy as well with a good result. So a good result for the team. Are you hoping that that can spur you on, and that's a bit of a well, a motivator perhaps to push on for the next few rounds?
Yeah. Today, I was not expecting to do good round breaking because it's not one of my stronger tracks, but especially after my crash in qualifying, I lost all confidence, but I just stayed strong and just somehow managed to get myself P2.
Yeah, great job and a great recovery, of course, like you say, after qualifying. So I'll hand it over to you then, Merckx, to interview Maxwell. Great job from him, of course, to take the victory tonight.
Yeah. Super Max, Super Max. That's all I have to say. Yeah, I mean, we were talking on Thursday, and you always say before F2 or after F2 when we talk about the races coming up, you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. You kind of play it down. I kind of think you've had your Weetabix every time you go into Division 3 recently, or whatever you prefer up in Scotland. But yeah, I mean, another good start. He helped by qualifying as well and managed to. Well, obviously there was a lot of things happening at the race start, and you managed to avoid that. But after that, it was good pace, and yeah, I guess it just fell on your lap really in the end. Talk us through the ups and downs of that race.
I think it is that song that motivates me, that Super Max song. But believe it or not, the start wasn't actually this clean for myself. I actually get a wee tap and get spun, which kind of, I think it affected a few people in the instance because I get spun. I think there was a virtual at the exact same time, so it gave myself and a few others 5-second penalties just for the taps that happened there. Obviously, I get rid of that during the pit stop, but. Weird race, honestly, just a case of I just wanted to be in clean air as much as possible. There was that early move, I think it was Cameron, when I went round the outside, like I need to make this move, I need to get some clean air just to obviously stretch out the 5-second gap. But after that, it was just a case of just stay out of trouble, keep away from penalties and do the biggest drift I could do at the end there to avoid that drive through like the first two got. I could not believe my eyes when I saw that. They lit up, and I was like, "Oh my god! Just how have we survived not getting a drive through here?" And then after that, it was just the case. Oh, it was a good one at the end because I could have went faster, but we were trying to just back Dodgy up into Steve-O's range. But in the end, as I say, Hypers had too much pace that we had to abort that. But overall, as you say, I don't have any expectations of being top 5, top 6 in the Thursday. I think it's every week there's a bit of rain, a bit of chaos, and it's just a case of being in the right place at the right time, and it seems to work out.
Seems to just be you at the moment, Maxwell. I mean, I said at the end, it's 95. I think it's 95 points in the last 6 races. 4 third places, 1 fifth place, and now 1 victory. And I mean, yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I thought, well, coming into this, I'm like, well, Gareth won the last season at Austria, and he's won this season at Austria. Maybe, just maybe, can Maxwell do the same? And, well, I was proven right in the end. I wasn't expecting it, but it's a welcome surprise. I have to say, well done, and it's great to see you on the top step once again.
Sure, but I'd say the only gamble we really took was I just decided I'll risk the wet setup in qualifying, because hopefully I can get the nuke start that I usually get. So I was like, if I can get that, it gives us a chance. But I say, again, I just think it's a wee bit of fortune and being in the right place at the right time. But what a race. I can't wait to watch that back just to see the chaos.
It was definitely chaotic. But yeah, Ham, have you got any final thoughts on that race? And do we have a drive of the day at all?
I'm going to be completely honest. I kind of forgot about the driver of the day. I'll just quickly see if we got anyone saying anything. Doesn't really look like there was anything in the chat, so I guess that's something that we'll have to come up with ourselves. But yeah, I mean, it was a brilliant race, wasn't it? Action throughout. I mean, especially for a wet race that can often be a bit dull at times, but it was certainly far from that. And it was certainly a race where consistency and keeping a level head shone brightest, with a lot of the front runners and the championship protagonists all tripping up over either one another or over themselves, it seemed. So yeah, brilliant result from Maxwell, of course, to take the victory. Cameron in P2 with a fantastic drive himself, and a good recovery from Hypers to take P3. Yeah, I mean, driver of the day is, yeah, like I say, something we'll have to decide. But good job all round, very good racing. So yeah, well done, guys.
Thank you.
Well
Cheers.
done indeed. Well, that was a breathless race once again in Division 3. I mean, action all over the field. Up and down drive-throughs and overtakes and crashes and, well, I mean, it's just Div 3 written all over, I think. Everything in that whole race just sums up Div 3. And, yeah, I think at the end of the day we can say that we watched a spectacle, and Maxwell on top once again for the second season in a row at Silverstone, and the
Just as
informed man at the
expected as
moment. I believe Hypers retakes the championship lead. It seems like every other week it's Hypers then Jester. So them two are locked in a championship fight, that's for sure, along with a few others at the moment. It isn't over just yet. What a start to the second half of the season it's been in Division 3. We do have one more race to go at Silverstone, and that is Elite, so be sure to tune in at 7 p.m. British summertime. And yeah, we'll see me and Ham on track. Hopefully it goes well for us as well. And I hope you have enjoyed the viewing tonight, as we've just hit 2.5 hours of streaming time. But it's all from me and all from Ham. Good night.